are going to take a look at the inside of a 2022 WRX base model. There are a few differences with the base model versus the other trim levels. The first thing that you'll notice, or the most obvious difference, is the dual screen infotainment setup. And the internet has kind of been harsh on this setup, saying it kind of looks like a Nintendo DS. There are some obvious differences between this and the big 11-inch infotainment screen that is on the Premium, Limited, and the GT versions of the WRX. One of the things that I personally liked about the dual screen setup is you have these two smaller screens that are surrounded by this bezel, and a lot of people said the bezel is ugly. I don't know if I would call it attractive, but when the car is turned on and the screens are illuminated, I don't think it looks bad at all. I do personally prefer these bezels. They're a matte finish, so there's no glare. With the 11-inch touchscreen, you have about the same area as the two screens with the center bezel that is your active screen or tablet area. However, the glossiness, what we call the glass part of the screen overlay, does extend over to what are just the plastic bezel areas here, which makes it look really smooth, but also adds, in my opinion, quite a bit of glare that I personally did not want to have to deal with. As far as the function of the dual screens, you do you can tell that it's an entry level, it's a basic level setup. This bottom screen, there's not a whole lot here. Obviously, this is your climate control screen. This is more of your entertainment or infotainment screen up here that has your apps, and the most important thing is your radio controls. Down below, you get just these two screens. Your climate controls stay constant at the bottom. There's not a whole lot happening here. This is one area where you can set the units. You can also access that from another menu. You have car settings, which doesn't really offer a whole lot, I mean, as far as anything exciting. So this is where you can set some things like the defogger. So this is not a screen that you'll be accessing very often. There's the units again. The driving statistics sounds like it's going to have a lot of cool information, but it really doesn't. This is it. There's nothing here. Now, when you turn the wheels, you know, you can see that moves a little bit. When the car is in motion, these are engaged green. But I mean, there's not a whole lot of, there's nothing exciting happening right here. Maintenance, that's something that you won't be accessing all that often either. The thing I don't like is when I open this screen for my climate controls, there's a lot of good info there. This is actually pretty handy, but you'll notice that it disappears. So it doesn't remain constant. I don't know if there's an option to get this to stay on the screen. I personally would like to have this staying up there all the time. You know, it does have the little red X to get rid of it, but I don't, like I said, I have not played around with this enough to know if I can get that to stay. As far as the physical buttons on this, I was a little hesitant because I like physical buttons. I personally, before I got in the car, I thought that I would like to have the temperature control on the screen if you had to choose, and the fan control on the bezel here as a physical button. It's been a little bit of an adjustment. Super quick though. I just learned you put the car in auto, and as you adjust the temperature, that's going to make your fan blow more or less. So it's and you notice it automatically switches from recirculation to bringing fresh air from the outside of the cabin. So it actually works pretty well. I acclimated very, very quickly. I'm a little old school in that, well, I mean, I love technology, but as far as in a car, I kind of like the buttons that are touch buttons and not on the screen. So this was actually something that I adapted to pretty quickly. I've had the car for 5 days now. So, and it took me like, you know, the drive home, I bought the car out of town. It was a 3-hour drive home after picking up the car, and it snapped pretty quickly. You know, you can reach over and adjust these without even looking, which is what I like. And you know, one of the things that they sell this car as a rally inspired car. It's, you know, there's a little bit of truth to that, and there's a little bit of marketing as well. But you know, in a rally setting, you don't have time to scroll through a touch screen. You just kind of know where the controls are, and you reach and touch. And so this is pretty handy, actually. As far as the radio, right now I'm just hooked up on Bluetooth with my Android phone. So, but this is where if you've got an iPhone, or if you've got your Android phone, if you plug it in, this is where the phone will connect directly to the screen. I don't know why, but on this 22 base model, with my artist, with my songs, it does not show any of the album art. Now my wife has a 21 Forester. It is the touring package, so it's got for that year, it's got the top offering that they had in that infotainment, and it shows on hers. Again, I don't know why, but so this is the most obvious difference with the base model. Honestly, I kind of like this better. It's no frills, it's pretty basic, but that's kind of where I am as a driver. You know, I think the interior is nice. It's nothing to brag about. It's nowhere near the you know, the interior that my wife's touring has. But again, if that's something I wanted, then I would have gone up for a different trim level. And another difference that you'll notice on the interior with the base model is there are no aluminum pedal covers. You just got this rubberized, bland looking texture. Kind of disappointed that it didn't come with them, but at the same time, I mean, it doesn't really serve a functional purpose. It's more for aesthetics. And honestly, other than me, most people are never going to notice that they're not there, but it's something I may or may not upgrade to later on. I've got a spare set of STI pedals that may or may not be compatible, so that's something it doesn't really bother me. So it's something we may or may not fool with down the line. And another noticeable difference with the base model WRX compared to the other trim levels is that there is no push button start. So this car uses a keyed ignition. This is the key right here that comes with the car. You get two, obviously. For some people, they like the push button start. I personally could care less. I kind of actually like a keyed ignition, so I was completely fine with the base model not having the push start. I personally have not sat in a WRX, a 22 model WRX, other than this one that I own. I don't know what the visors are like. This is actually kind of a hard plastic. On the underside, it is a little softer. It is by no means top shelf. At the same time, it's really not that cheap either. It looks nice. If you didn't actually touch it, you wouldn't know that it's a hard plastic. It actually, I'm fine with it. My old WRX from that's an older model. I had a bug-eye WRX, and the visors that came in it were almost like a plastic inflatable pool toy. That's how cheap they were. And I had upgraded those to cloth ones. But this is different. Like I said, I don't know if this is different with the base model or not. Someone with a premium or a limited, let me know what you got up here, because I don't know if there's a difference or not. And another difference with the base model is there is no option for a moonroof. With the other packages, you either get or you can get the moonroof. With the base model, there is no option to get one, which I was fine with because I did not want a moonroof, so that it did not bother me about the base model. But do be aware, with the base, if you wanted a moonroof, you will have to move to a premium in order to get that. Another thing with the seats in the base model that I don't know if it's different or not between the base and the premium, this is just completely cloth. There is no vinyl or faux leather backing on the seat, which for a lot of people makes no difference whatsoever. I do have 2 kids. I've got an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old who ride with me. And so my wife's car has leather interior, and so when they get their dirty, muddy feet on the back of the seat, it's super easy to wipe off. Don't know for sure how durable this is going to be with kids, and it's inevitable their feet are going to get up against this. So if you've got a premium, let me know if yours is the same way or if it's different. And I'll report back in a while and let you know how durable this is with kids in the back seat. Another thing that is different about the base model is in the back seat on the back side of your center armrest there is no USB port. On the premium and limited and GT models, you do get 2 charging ports. They are not there on the base model. Now, I suspect that it's something you probably could add fairly easily. I would imagine that the wiring to do so is in there. That's just kind of how Subaru does things. Usually the end of the plug is there. There's just nothing plugged into it when you're missing a feature. So I'm gonna look into adding those at some point. If it works, I'll let you know. If not, I'll let you know. The steering wheel, obviously you get your radio controls right here. You can make your calls. The calls in the car work well. As far as this panel of options, there's not a lot here. Traction control, trunk release, and then you adjust the brightness of your instrument and your dash lighting. This car does not come with fog lights. The base trim level is the only one that does not have fog lights from the factory. That is something I will be purchasing from Subaru and installing myself. And the kit from Subaru has a switch that goes right here in the in this panel section. The controls, you know, this is pretty basic. I think I do like how it's got these little gloss sections at the top of your controls. So much of the plastic here is a matte finish, which I love. I hate some of the automakers that have put gloss black everywhere in their cars. You get the faux carbon fiber, which actually I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it looks cheap. You know, it kind of fits, I guess, the personality of the car. That's carried over as well right here on the steering wheel. Overall, I like the interior of the car. And I don't know if this, if the door card, if the door panel here the cloth is different from what's on the premium or not. This doesn't look bad. There's nothing really wrong with it. I don't think it's going to age as well, obviously, as you know, a leather or even a vinyl. But I say for now it's fine. Who knows what it'll look like 5-10 years down the road. Most people don't hang on to a car more than 5 years anyway. Armrest is not super soft, but soft enough to have some support there. This is the part that a lot of people have criticized. Hard plastic. It's pretty there's nothing high-tech about this. It's pretty basic, and you can tell this is an economy feature. Doesn't really bother me. Had I ordered this car, which I did not, I caught this, the dealership had it listed as in transit, and I called them up and put a reserve on the car. Had I ordered one, I probably would have gotten the extension that so many people have said you have to have. But in all honesty, this, you know, and I drove on the interstate 3 hours to get home. You know, and most of the time I've got both hands on the wheel anyway. Obviously when I'm shifting I don't, or if I'm just, you know, in traffic where you do a whole lot of shifting. But you know, in all honesty, for me to rest my arm on this, it's, you know, that's the reach of the shifter right there. I am 6'3", so you know, my arms aren't short arms, they're not super duper long arms either. But it works, and it's not, like I said, it looks, when you touch it and open it, you're like, oh, that's an economy part. But you know, and just in application, it's not bad. And I don't know that I'm going to buy the extension now because, you know, I'm right there. You get this little tray right here that is super handy. This is the same in every WRX. It's almost long enough for a phone to just fall in there. My phone is not a big phone. It doesn't fit in this way, laying flat. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's at an angle there, and it doesn't quite go in lengthwise. But I have not figured out how I am doing my my phone if I want to mount the phone anywhere. The base model does not come with GPS on the infotainment system. Obviously, if you're using Apple CarPlay, you know, you can get that up on the screen here. My wife has an iPhone. I'm Android. In fact, I'm inexpensive Android. I haven't hooked my wife's iPhone up to this yet. I'll do that in another video to show kind of how the Apple CarPlay works on the system here. The seats in this car, I actually liked visually. I like the seats better than the premium. Personally, I love leather interior. I also do not especially care for the ultra suede that has been in the WRX and the STI, you know, throughout the years as one of the interior options. I just don't like that material. My previous WRX, I actually had swapped STI leather interior, not the suede, but the leather interior in it. And I mean, I love leather, but between cloth and the ultra suede, I personally would rather have the cloth. These seats are, I think, very comfortable. Nothing to win any awards, obviously, but they have good support. The bolstering is good. The comfort level, you know, I think they're overall comfortable. They are not the most comfortable seats I've ever been in a car, but they'll keep me content. I do wonder, once again, this material feels very thin. I shouldn't say very thin. It doesn't feel extra durable, let's say that. So, you know, I do wonder how this is going to age. I don't know why, but the portion here feels a little softer. This is you know, this is cloth as well. It kind of looks like it might be a vinyl or a faux leather, but it in pictures, but this is cloth as well. And I think that's about it as far as the interior goes. You do lose the center armrest cup holder. You lose that. It is not in the base model, which would have been nice, but it's not a deal breaker. So the day after I bought this car and brought it home, I had 2 kids loaded in the back in car seats with T-ball gear. So I am going to be adding a seat protector from the parts counter at Subaru. So that's about it. Like I say, once again, this is the base model. If you've got any specific questions about the base, post them below and I'll try to answer them.